I have a question. Will Mickey Mouse ever enter the public domain? And the short answer is actually yes. Mickey Mouse is actually set to enter the public domain in the year 2024. Kind of. So copyright is the idea that the creator of a creative work, like a song or a book or a movie, has the legal and exclusive right to perform, distribute, or reproduce their work for a period of time, right? Exclusive being the key word here, meaning that no one else can reproduce or distribute or perform their work without the original creator's permission, so long as the work is protected by copyright. It should be noted that a work has to be original and it has to have had some significant mental activity in order to be created to be eligible for copyright. And it also has to be tangible to be eligible for copyright, so like an idea can't be copyrighted. Anyways, a copyrighted work can only be copyrighted for a limited period of time, after which the work enters the public domain. A work in the public domain can be reproduced, distributed, and or performed by anyone without permission from the original creator. So where did copyright protection come from? In 1790, the United States established the first copyright protections in the Copyright Protection Act of 1790, which gave works copyright protection for up to 14 years. Over time, the United States government kept passing laws that extended copyright protection, and by the time that Mickey Mouse made his first appearance in the animated short Steamboat Willie, copyright protection lasted for 56 years at that point. But this copyright protection was extended once again by the Copyright Act of 1976, which raised the length of copyright protections to 75 years. So the protections of Mickey Mouse were extended to 2003. But copyright protections were extended once again by the Copyright Term Extension Act of 1998, thanks in part, actually, to a lobbying effort from multiple companies that, interestingly, included the Walt Disney Company. The act extended copyright protections for another 20 years, and the next time that copyright was to be extended by Congress so that no works could fall into the public domain was in 2018, except that didn't happen. The groups that had lobbied Congress in 1998 didn't even try to lobby to renew copyright extensions in 2018 because they didn't think there was a chance that they could win. In 1998, not many people cared about the public domain, so pushback to the 1998 copyright extension was small. But in 2018, almost every American has access to the internet, and anyone with internet access can more directly benefit if a work is in the public domain. So opposition to another Copyright Extension Act would probably have been much, much larger than it was in 1998. The first appearance of Mickey Mouse was in the animated short Steamboat Willie. Steamboat Willie was created in the year 1929, and because it was created before the year 1978, it has copyright protection for 95 years, or until 2024. So on January 1st, 2024, Mickey Mouse will enter the public domain. Except not this version of Mickey Mouse. It will be this version of Mickey Mouse that will enter the public domain in 2024. Mickey Mouse as he appeared in the Steamboat Willie. You will notice that these two versions of Mickey Mouse are slightly different, most notably that the Steamboat Willie version of Mickey Mouse lacks gloves. Copyright actually protects subsequent versions of the same character, and a version of Mickey Mouse with gloves didn't appear until the animated short The Opry House in 1929. So if you wanted to sell a Mickey Mouse toy with white gloves without permission from the Walt Disney Company, you would probably have to wait until 2025. Also, there's another thing that makes the idea of Mickey Mouse being in the public domain confusing, and that is trademark. Even though a version of Mickey Mouse will no longer be protected by copyright in 2024, Disney will still hold trademark protections for the Mickey Mouse character. Trademark is a symbol or a word or a phrase or something else that is used in relation to a specific product to sell that product. So of course, trademarks can be mascots, which Mickey Mouse can be considered to be in some ways. So if you wait until 2024, when Mickey Mouse will be in the public domain and used Mickey Mouse's image to sell something, like toothpaste for example, you might still get into legal trouble, because you might have infringed on trademark protection of Mickey Mouse. Or if you were to wait until to make a product in 2024 which somehow incorporated Mickey Mouse, but some people were confused and thought it was produced by the Walt Disney Company, even though it wasn't, it was produced by you, you could still maybe get into legal trouble. I should also stress that I'm not a lawyer, and this isn't legal advice. This is just what I've read online. I just want to, make that clear. So this brings us to the important question. Is copyright too long? The purpose of copyright, I would argue, is to incentivize people to create things. If copyright protections are too short or don't exist, a person might not be willing to create a work because there's no guarantee that they'll be able to profit off of that work. So I do think that there should be some copyright protections, but I have a question. Does protecting works with copyright for 70 years after an author's death incentivize those authors to create more works? I would answer probably not really. You can't profit off of a work if you're dead, because money is meaningless to you because you're dead, right? Do you think that Walt Disney would have created more movies if he had known that copyright was going to protect his movies for 95 years instead of the 56 years of copyright protection that existed when he was alive? I would guess probably not. First of all, I think Disney made movies for reasons other than profit. I think he enjoyed making movies for people to enjoy. Also, I don't think Disney would have expected that his company was going to make that much profit off of his characters more than 56 years after he created them. After all, mega characters like Mickey Mouse didn't really exist when Walt Disney was alive. Also, if copyright protection is too long, it ends up hurting consumers and even other creators. I would like to go back to Disney for a second. Take Cinderella or Sleeping Beauty or Aladdin or The Little Mermaid or a ton of other Disney films, right? All of these films are based off of works that are in the public domain. But let's say, hypothetically, that these works had not been in the public domain and instead were protected by copyright when Disney had originally made these movies. Well, it's possible that the owners of the copyrighted works could have not allowed Disney to make these movies, which would have hurt Disney because they wouldn't have been able to make these profitable movies, and it also would have hurt consumers because they wouldn't have these Disney movies to enjoy. And I think this applies to copyrighted works today. Just imagine if Mickey Mouse had retained its original copyrighted protection lengths of 56 years and went into the public domain in 1985. Just imagine what could have been created in the past 36 years if anyone could create works involving Mickey Mouse without permission from the Walt Disney Company. So in the end, I would say that while I believe that some copyright protections are necessary, I would argue that the length of copyright protections hurt consumers and other creators and do not significantly incentivize creators to create more works. But of course, what are your thoughts? Do you think copyright should be shortened, or is it fine the way it is? Please let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching.